games this morning, huh? So this is Black Devotion. We've got a Great Merchant of Asphodel here as our primary payoff in this archetype. 5 mana, 2/4. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X equal to your devotion to black. You gain life equal to loss this way. So we kind of have two different combos in this deck. So the first is that Vito with Gray Merchant, generally speaking, is a sufficiently large enough finite combo, generally speaking, where this basically doubles how much your Gray Merchant is doing, because your Gray Merchant is draining, and then this doubles the amount of damage you deal to your opponent. So, like, pretty normal curve is like, you know, a 1-drop, a Vito, one of your 2 4-drops, Gray Merchant, and then you drain your opponent for a bunch. Another combo that we have is we have Revival Revenge here, which generally acts like Splinter Twin in this archetype. So the Revenge half here says double your life, target opponent loses half their life rounded up. And the way the rules of Magic work, doubling your life total counts as gaining life. So if you Revenge while you have Vito in play, depending on like what your life total looks like and what their life total looks like, often your opponent's just going to die on the spot. The Revival part of this card is also very, very reasonable. We've got a number of good 2 and 3 mana, 1, 2, 3 mana things in our deck that we want to return to play at this point. And we also have Ayara here for a lot of Black Devotion, way to drain people when things come into play and out. So, one of the big upsides to playing this archetype, in my opinion, is that you get pretty consistent mana. We've got 10 black-white duels here for the Revenge half on turn 6 and later. And even if we don't have white mana, we can still play the Revival half. And then we get to play both Agadeem's Awakening and 4 copies of Castle Locthwain. So we basically have 26 lands, but 8 of them are spell lands. So even when we flood a little bit, our deck tends to be consistent and still get to use its mana every game. So let's dive on into some games with this and see how it goes. Hey, Rocky Alterers, thank you very much for the sub and the very generous sub gifts this morning. Happy Monday. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your week. Paula, thank you for the 3 entire years. Good morning, good morning. This is a rerun. Yeah, we've played this deck on stream 2 or 3 times in the past now at this point. We're not playing all HA4 decks anymore, so we'll still have card decks on occasion that have HA4 things in them, but we're not explicitly only playing things with new cards at this point. So we're going to lead on the Knight here, because Knight notably does not care who loses 4 life. So if we double Thoughtseize our opponent here, like we're about to, Knight will grow to a 2/3. Which of these do I care about? I probably care about this the least, right? It's just like a 2/2 with haste. Then I think I leave this back because I don't think hitting them for 1 is worth taking 2 on the backswing. I found your YouTube around the start of 2020 and decided it's time to pay some of that back and forward. Thank you for that. I'm glad you enjoy the YouTube stuff. Good to have you in chat for a live one. This blocks plenty okay, so I'm going to go ahead and attack here, I think. There's no way they're blocking. It's a free 2-pointer, I believe. And I'll drop her down. Galahedon, thank you for the 3/4 of a year. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, Christy borrowed my camera tripod for something yesterday, and I forgot to put it back up, and I was running behind this morning, so... And the old one set up just in case, so it'll do in a pinch. So I think we start by attacking here because they're not going to block if I leave mana open and threaten to pump. And then we'll get to play this. And play this. And then these drains will trigger Knight here. We'll probably eat the Gutterbones at the end of their turn to draw a card. Get some velocity going here. Or there won't be an end of their turn, you know? Okay, so Grawl. Cast down, Heartless Act, Noxious Grasp. Some Obliterators. Against anything aggressive, you basically board out the Revenge Revival because your opponent's going to be hammering your life total, which means it's less likely to combo kill them. Gonti comes out against aggro. We're bringing in some other 4-drops here. How am I taking viewer submissions? Yeah, it was never off of the website. I just raised the price on it. So you can still submit decks following the details on here. It's $50 for Arena submissions, $60 for Moto submissions. This is probably just an all Doomblades on deck matchup. Yeah, and I think we pull Thoughtseizes out here. Most, if not all. Might be okay to leave a couple. Like, one Thoughtseize is, like, fine. I feel like games like that last one where we played 2 is probably not what we're looking for on average. Rebel Lawyer, thank you for the 13 months. Gutterbones doesn't block amazing in this matchup. Let's try this. Morning, Smith. Thanks for the 2 months. There are 6 days until the Hooglandia Open Series returns. Which will be back on. Sunday. We're gonna be playing some historics. If you got a sweet deck you want to show off, want to play some fantastic Magic, I'm streaming that all day on Sunday. How do you play best of 3 ranked? Oh, there's a toggle in the top right. You gotta enable extra play modes or advanced play modes. I forget exactly what they call it. You're not silly. It's just hidden for reasons. Alright, so who are we killing with this? I think it's just Scavenging Ooze. I guess the Scooze is gonna fight with the Klothys. I'm gonna kill the Brawler. Take 2. The Brawler gives 2 devotion towards Klothys, so maybe keep our opponent off of that for a turn. We get to threaten the Knight of the Ebon Legion activation this turn. Oh, I don't have Cardboard loaded. I don't know if that has HA4 cards in it yet, but I can at least load it up and find out. Doesn't look like it had an update. So this threatens a block as a 4/5. And then next turn we go Swamp, drop Obliterator. Morning, Shrivis. The event begins at 10 a.m. Central. That's 8 a.m. PST. I'm pretty happy with that trade. Yeah, comparing Klothys to Carpet of Flowers makes me wonder if you've ever played with Carpet of Flowers. Carpet of Flowers doesn't make 1 mana. It makes a lot more mana than that. So I think with this draw, we just go ahead and murder this now. And probably pass back here. I'm not worried about numbers at all, 1778er. I think we've already got 30-some odd people signed up for the Hoots tournament. With the entry fee, since we added an entry fee, people largely sign up in the last day or two, or even day of. We haven't capped an event since we added an entry fee. So I'm not really concerned about that. Part of the reason why we added an entry fee was because not only does it give us a little bit more prize support, but it also makes sure that people are only joining if they can really play. Ugh, sorry to hear that, Beansy. Do I use Awakening to return my 1-drop, or do I just play Gifted Aetherborn? I think I just play Gifted Aetherborn. Play this tapped. How long does Hoots last? Our previous tournaments had been in and out in about 6 to 7 hours, but obviously it depends on how long the rounds take. Yeah, I think we're dead. Even if I find removal at this point, the Klothys is still likely to kill us. This is very strong. The one thing that's been impressive about these Gruul decks in Historic to me is that their ability to turn Klothys into a creature is really consistent. Yeah, in fact, part of the reason why we run the tournament as double elimination, not only does running it as double elim give the people playing a very clear idea of, only does it give people a very clear idea of when they're done and can drop from the tournament, because it basically auto drops you when you're no longer in contention being double elim, but it also speeds it up, right? So like, you don't have 2 people playing at 1 and 3 who are dead for winning the tournament, holding up the round for people that are still alive. It also makes picking coverage matches super easy and clean, because just like at any point we can just like look at the people still playing and be like, all right, let's watch that one. We know they're in contention because they're still in the tournament. Man, this 7 is so good. It's really sad to mulligan this. I obviously like the 6 is fine, but how greedy is it to mulligan the knight here and just keep 3, 4, 5. I'll do that, actually. It might be wrong, but... yeah, I'm excited to work with Jim. He's a good dude and a good content producer. Adiak, thanks for the follow. Good morning. There's double elimination stop IDs. There are no draws. There's no... our tournament doesn't have a cut to top 8. There's no cuts, no butts, no coconuts. You literally, everybody queues up and we keep playing matches of Magic until there's one person that hasn't lost twice. This isn't some archaic boomer Magic the Gathering tournament where you have draws and people not playing their games and there's incentives to not play Magic. We want everybody playing every match. It's a really strange concept, but I wanted everybody in the tournament to play every match of Magic, so we structured the tournament to incentivize people to play every match of Magic. It was this really innovative thing we did. Azuzal, thank you for the 4 months. I appreciate the third of a year. Welcome back. It's a little aggro, but with the Grey Merchant in hand and the Knight coming out, I think it's correct to do. Correct, yeah. And with arena clocks, there's no drawing due to time as well. It's great. But with no coconuts, where do I put my lime? You just gotta eat the lime straight. Just bite into it like an orange. The Hoots tournaments are a great first tournament to play in. They're not super cutthroat. It's a great place to give Tournament Magic a try for the first time. Very flat prize structure, very clear incentive. You know when you're alive, you know when you're dead. There's no wonky tiebreaker math computations or stuff like that. Okay, let's see if we can draw some spells here, huh? The Abrade for Vito was very good. And Vito in play, we'd threaten a lot more damage here. The Knight of the Ebon Legion does a pretty good Abyss impersonation. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I guess company makes sense, because now they get a free block with Klothys. Yeah, this attack's probably bad. Yeah, our opponent beat Phyrexian Obliterator last game. We flooded out a little bit, and they had Ember Cleave. Yeah, this attack could easily lose us the game. Should've just played this and passed. How often am I going to do these? Yeah, probably monthly, assuming they go well. We were doing them about monthly before. I don't like to make commitments I can't guarantee to be able to keep. So, like, I don't have a guarantee for, like, when the next one's going to be until we see how this one goes. Actually, that's a lie. We're going to do a standard one, too. We're going to do 2 and see how they go. You can find all the details on the Hoots tournament, including the prize support, on the page at MTG Melee here. The prizes are cool stuff, ink store credit based on the number of match wins that you achieve. That's true. They don't have second red for Cleave yet. And they are running out of things in the graveyard. If they attack with everything, we go like block, take 9, they sack 4 things. Man, this is a 10. I think we're just killing Spellbreaker here. There will hopefully be plenty more Historic tournaments for people playing. The next one after this one's going to be Standard because it'll be right after the new set release. Yeah, are we killing Ferocodon since they have plenty of things? That's probably the case. Killing Ferocodon lets them gain life too, though. It's close. I think there's an argument for killing a few different things. There's nothing in graveyard. I mean, I'm putting something in a graveyard by killing it. If they don't attack, Grey Merchant is now lethal. I lied. They're gaining 2. See, and that's the stuff like that, right? Like, if I kill something else, not only do I take more devotion off of Clothes, but then, like, Grey Merchant's lethal if they don't attack. Yeah, Merchant's a good draw. Vito's a good draw. Ayara's a good draw. Second Obliterator's a good draw because it lets me attack with the first one. How about a Swamp, chat? How do we rank Swamp on my list of draws? Hey, Mono Blue Burn, is that your Historic Mud list that just came through the deck submission queue here? Yeah, that would be that one would be fine to cheer bits for. Just put a link to the deck list in your cheer comment. We did it! Obviously they didn't die there, but that puts us up high enough that this game should be over. We get to draw another card here too. It also gives us enough breathing room to draw with Castle a bunch. Yeah, we're no longer dead to a cleave. It was one of our dozen good draws finally after a bunch of lands and bricks. Gary. In before land crater hoof. Definitely dead to land Crater Hoof. Gotcha. Ooh, if they have a stomp, they could stomp. Yeah, they can stomp here and then eat it with the Scavenging Ooze, right? Do you have a particular day you'd like to see that deck get played on, Mono Blue Burn? Does later today work for you? Get Mithril and Mythgard with the Rebels deck. Sweet. That'd be fantastic. Awesome. It'll be up after the Mardu mid-range deck today. Also, I was talking about this in the subs Discord last night. But people are pretty hyped for Historic. I posted between Thursday and Friday, I posted 7 deck videos for Historic, and every single one of the 7 deck videos I posted beat my average number of YouTube views for videos since I've been back doing Magic. They have Scavenging Ooze in play that can respond to you. They have 4 Scavenging Ooze activations. So like I go to bring it back. Well, I mean, that's definitely an attack. This is a Mathis for blockers attack here, right? So we take 12, 13. Yeah, board states like this make me miss Runeterra's eye feature for sure. We passed the basic math test. Somebody break out the TI-83. What's going on, Wills? Thanks for the 2 months. Welcome back. Azuzel, I think I might have missed your 4 months. If I did, I'm sorry. If I didn't, thanks again. We passed the equivalent of a single turn of artifact. Stop it, he's already dead, Pelly! TI-89 Titanium. Gosh, what was my last calculator? What was it called? I had a... During undergrad, the TI-Nspire was the brand new TI that had just come out. It was very fancy and did algebra for you too. I'm gonna Thoughtseize on one here. I did have a good weekend, killer. Do I still have it? Yeah, I have it. It exists somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but somewhere. Somewhere over the TTU. Do. Man, like all these cards are the same thing. Were there instant speed combat tricks in Runeterra? Can I work in Magic Tour? There are too many variables. Yeah, Runeterra. In fact, combat tricks in Runeterra are more playable than they are in Magic the Gathering, based on how their priority system works. So, I think I take the Matron, because the Matron finds them either of these, plus it sacrifices for a Mana Prospector. What's the scariest? Nah, I think we take this because it's a Krenko plus mana. We're not going to survive 3 Krenkos, so like... Alright, sweet. So we're getting Krenko next turn. Or Muxus next turn. I assume we're dead here. I forget, do I have a pile of cages in the sideboard of this deck? If I don't, there probably should be. Man, Past Shift didn't put any cages in the sideboard of this deck. God damn it, Past Jeff. Oh, they can Muxus us this turn. Oh, it's so funny. Are we just dead? I can draw a removal spell for this, right? No. I don't have removal spells in my main deck, right? We're pretty linear. Got removal spells in the sideboard, though. These grass are probably narrowed. These should probably be some cages. Again, this comes out against anything being super aggressive. Lufos TV, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Honestly, D-Spark's probably fine here, right? Killing Muxus and Krenko is fine. I subbed to be able to join us. I study math and haven't used a calculator in years. Really? What, I guess at higher level mathematics, you don't use calculators terribly often. The types of things you're doing don't really involve that. For reference on my background, if you're new to the channel, I have a graduate degree in mathematics. I spent some time teaching at the university level. Man, all of this is just bad for us, huh? I think I'm taking a chieftain. Muxus still being legal makes me think Goblins has a compromising picture of a staff member. Take the dork. Now I'm gonna take one of the cards that kills me. The dork's like kind of annoying, but like I need to answer the chieftains or I'm gonna lose the game. I think they're gonna braid the Gifted Aetherborn here over Vito. At least I would if I was in their position. So I'm attacking for 2 with it first to gain some life. If they'd rather kill Vito, I think that's good for us. Yep. This actually seems great for us.
Now you're playing with fire. This'll be easy.
Anomaly Photo and Palin, thanks for the follows. Good morning, folks. You know, I'm not super familiar with the... I know a lot of good independent learning tools exist at this point, but I'm actually not super familiar with them personally. Is it a spell? Or is it a land? I think it's a land. Getting to 6 to double activate this sounds useful. Khan Academy. That's a word I've heard before. A name I've heard before. I'm gonna attempt to just kill them in 2 here. Is that lethal? This is only 13, right? I can block here and attack on the backswing. And then they're not dead on the backswing now because this is going to be a 3-3. You're not dead, opponent. You sack a goblin and play a blocker. I mean, okay, I'll take it, I guess, but they weren't dead on board. We were attacking for 10 with trample, they had a 3-3. It's like sack some lands and kill us the backswing. Yeah, I actually think we're pretty far behind that game. My opponent just conceded in. They were very upset we killed their Muxus, you know? Dazzle, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Like, draws some goblins each turn. Any of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's the chosen creature type, reveal it, put it in. Hey, Silver Oak, good morning. Thanks for the 2 months. I think we Ayara to start. Yeah, I mean, well, that's something I've talked about too, Pelly, is like, a lot of Runeterra's current gameplay patterns feel very similar to Magic's formats, except Runeterra doesn't have sideboards or best of 3. So, like, the types of play patterns Magic have, in my opinion, don't feel good as a best of 1 game. I know there's people that disagree with that. Like, Arena has a ton of people that play best of 1, but, like, there's a reason why I don't play this game as a best of 1 game. Hey, Easy2 Raven, thanks for hooking up the Prime again. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Double Herald Horn here. So I have like a 1-mana matron here. But we're breeding, spending that. Sure, that seems good for me. Yikes. This card seems real strong. Regazoo, our 23rd Shillionaire on the channel. I appreciate the support. Thanks for watching a whole bunch. Look at that. Where's my Channel points. Manage rewards. Get that trickle down going. It's so easy for the next person to achieve Shillionaire now. Just 999,977 shillings. Everyone at home is coming for it. I'm gonna start by attacking with Gifted Aetherborn here. If they block with Ringleader, I'm gonna murder the Goblin Chieftain in response. Maybe that's wrong. You could be right to just save this for Krenko. They have drawn running goblins with these 2 or 3. They've hit every time. I think they've had 5 triggers and they've hit every time with them so far. Probably not, Seth. I think you need some of the older landfall threats to really make that a worthwhile payoff. Space Martian, thank you for the 10 sub gifts. Good morning. Happy Monday. Alright, they missed on the last one. The last one they missed on will be like in a braid naturally, right? Hey, thanks for the Prime, Cowboy. Appreciate the hookup. Okay, that's a skirt. Okay. Okay. I think this is lethal, right? They just lose? No. I only have 8 power in play and they're at 10. So Vito's not quite lethal. Oh, they have second Krenko. We've had first Krenkos. What about second Krenkos? It's March, always has been. Thank you for the tier 3 portal. Good morning. I appreciate the 1.5 years. Just staying safe out there. So they either misclick their Krenko or they have a second Krenko. It's worth noting that Cage would have actually just been useless here, right? Because they like had a Braid and they had Trashmaster. Is this lethal? Did they count? Yeah, it looks lethal, right? We're taking... It's 1 over lethal? Man, that's brutal. Because we're not gonna lifelink here, because they're gonna sacrifice it to Skirt Prospector. Wait, did I miscount? Didn't I? Oh, this is 2832. Yeah, I miscounted. Derf. Yeah, this is 28. I was thinking 28 altogether. I was just looking at the 7. Yeah, it's fine. I missed a 4. Alright, I think these Noxious Grasps need to be something that kills Krankos. Honestly, this probably means this cast down's not playable either. As cute as that is. Probably just all Heartless Acts all the way down. Christian Sun, thanks for the follow. Good morning. Do I just want some sweepers? I think I might just want... Cage wouldn't have done anything that game, chat. They had... They had what's it called? They had the thing. They had Trashmaster. Like, Cage isn't even that good against the Goblins deck. They board in a bunch of Abrades. They have Trashmaster. They have 4 Matrons to find Trashmaster. It isn't even good. How many cards do we cut against Control in this deck? We cut, like, 6 cards, and I have 2 Rider, 2 D-Spark, Duress, Gonti. I probably don't need this many Duresses in my sideboard. Yeah, the Goblins deck, like, combos kills you, it grinds you out, it has interaction for your interaction, like I've talked about, I do think that part of Historic's enjoyable diversity is related to the fact that the Magic Arena economy is bad. I think if Goblins was cheaper to build and didn't require a bunch of cards that only go into Goblins, this format would be less diverse and more people would play it. I'm thankful that's not the case, but I think it's worth acknowledging that that's likely a consideration and why Historic has the diversity that it does. Non-basic lanes, your opponent plays enter tap. Rude. Don't pay 2 life, chat, you'll be sad. That's fine. We got a pretty good curve here, right? We're gonna like drop this, drop this, drop this. What is Mud? Mud is the boomer term for a mono artifact deck. You played during OG Theros, didn't Mud stand for Mono Blue Devotion? I don't know what you kids and your newfangled stealing my acronyms have been doing. Can't keep track, kids these days, and their damn acronym acquisition. Oh, shit. I was thinking I could do this and this, but this helps me play more than one spell per turn too, right? Yeah, awkward. That's fine. I think it's probably still right to do that. Let's see. My work has an acronym committee, and if you use a non-committee approved acronym, they send you a nasty email. What kind of fresh hell is this? An acronym committee? Alright, well. Fireball you for 14. I'll do it again, I swear. I swear I'll do it again. We have a plan, chat. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Garys. Gary, 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 Gary. Isn't swinging with the 2/3s lethal? Oh, nope. There's a first striker on the board. And they're at 6. Not only are they at 6, but there's a first striker on the board. Bye, friend. I cut the Thoughtseize and just bring in a bunch of cards that play to the board here. They probably have mostly exile removal and they pressure our life to a little bit, so we board this out. Rest of this seems fine. I don't think this is a Witch's Vengeance matchup. Because they had a lot of humans. Gonti grabbing their own removal be narrow. It's assuming they're keeping in all their copies of the you can only play 1 spell per turn card. Gonti's pretty awkward from that perspective because it encourages you to get double spell turns to really get good reasonable value off of it. Like Gonti's like never a terrible card. Like at worst it's still pretty reasonable. 3 versus 4 mana is a big deal, and I primarily want Witch's Vengeance for goblins, so I think I'd rather have Witch's Vengeance. Is there a short version of what's legal and historic? Yeah, everything that exists on Arena with a small ban list is the short version. The long version's quite a bit more complicated than that. Because of historic anthologies. Is Historic Zoomer Modern? No, we have cards that are legal and Historic that aren't Modern legal. Oh man, no plays here from the opponent? Pretty unlucky. What could they possibly have? Oh, Collected Company, I'm so surprised. They're a Bugler Company deck. That's sweet. I like it. Oh, this is gonna go back to their hand anyways, right? It's annoying. Angered into. Like it is. Thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Karma Trooper. Thanks for the 19. Howdy, howdy. I think I want these Witch's Vengeances after seeing... I added a gamer command already. If I want these or not. I'm gonna go with no. I mean, I do want the Gontis. Taking their Skyclaves could be appealing. Taking their Skyclaves as a way to exile their things is kind of funny. Gutterbones is kind of whatever if they're locking us to one spell per turn. I'm playing the sweeper for the goblins matchup. I don't really want a generic sweeper against things like Gruul. So I'd rather have the more mana efficient sweeper against goblins. I want to just kill this stupid dog. Born in Silence. Itty bitty bugle boy. Swing and a miss. Attack with this, probably a free 2-pointer. They can trade both of these for it. That would seem very good for them. Sounds great. Idea behind opponent's deck seems super reasonable. It's got a lot of neat things going on in it. Am I just doing this to kill these? I'll attack with the Aetherborn again here. I think it's free 2 points of life gain. I could just be Ayara this turn too, drain them a little bit. I don't know that the overlay does Gonti cards. It exiles one attacking or blocking creature until it leaves the battlefield. It's like a Banisher Priest, but only for attacking or blocking things. Yeah, you can also type exclamation point and card name in chat to pull up the exact text. The creature lands are a great way to break the symmetry on Arcana as well. Like, gives them something to do with their mana when they're not doing this. Do you think they have a copy of Sigrid here? Morning, Cody. I think our opponent is in love with the Coco chat. Well, our draw would need to be explicitly a basic land. Ooh, no collecting company is great for us. Obliterate! I don't think it's worth sacrificing Gonti to try and spike the land here. I think I just eat this in response, right? Because otherwise I have to pay 2 to draw a card. I'm not eating anything else. Might as well. Gas Fireball. Luna Hero, thank you for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. GG. Casual 18U, because we have 6. This would be 8 for 16. Ayara is 2 more. Gary. We are a top 300 Mythic gamer. This is a hyper competitive stream, chat. Says Gary, he trades in death, pain, and stocks. This is fine. Mana's a little awkward, but spells are good. So something that is going to be interesting is I found out, and I didn't realize this, that SCG's tournaments this weekend are also historic. So it'll be neat to be able to draw comparisons between what SCG's metagame looks like versus what the Hoaglandia event looks like. Thanks, Archangel. Catch you later. Missing the land drop here probably means we're dead. The Knight of the Ebon Legion is just gonna beat us down. We get it running untapped lands here and curve like Ayara into Gonti. Well, shit. Assume we're losing Gonti here. We could draw like a Gifted Aetherborn and be pretty okay too. They're taking Ayara. Interesting. I guess if we draw a land, this pumps to trade with their knight. This is where the magic happens. So in matchups like this, you want more cards that play to the board. I don't want to be picking stuff out of their hand, because as that last game showed, the place where the real game happens is on the board. We are playing effectively 26 lands, 22 plus 4 Awakenings. Our deck has plenty of mana in it. This might just be kind of a low quality card we get rid of. Obliterators in. Yeah. Ayara is pretty likely to die, so grinding with Gutterbones isn't great there. And the body on Gutterbones doesn't line up well into a lot of like their 2/3s and stuff. I'm excited to never draw a third land for a second game in a row. You excited for the weirdest things? Don't you kink shame me. I like what I like. It's just who I am. Stand up for a bit, huh? Nykthos will be legal. Believe it or not, my deck playing Ayara the Firstborn isn't interested in playing a colorless land. This is gonna come as a shock to you. My Phyrexian Obliterator deck, like I get that, like, Obliterator and Ayara are, like, decent enablers for that kind of effect, but, like, we also aren't ramping into anything. So, like, why would I want to play a ramp card in my deck that's not ramping into anything? A ramp card that's going to make it harder for me to cast my spells? People would always make suggestions like that, and it's just like, if you think about what the deck is actually doing, you realize very quickly it doesn't make sense. Well, this is a vampire. That's cute. Why don't we block the Null Priest? Am I missing something? Yeah, you're missing that the Null Priest has Menace. That's not a legal play. Am I killing Sorin or am I killing Knight of the Ebon Legion? We're just killing Sorin. Oh, shit. I gave their thing a counter. I need to do that at end of turn. Am I getting ahead to Sloppy there? Yeah, we're pretty dead. Even without killing that. Maybe Vito's a card I'm supposed to board out in this matchup. It's a synergy card that's kind of individually weak against my opponent that's going to be picking ourselves apart. Yeah, Vito's probably a card I should be cutting in the mid-range and control matchups in this deck. At the very least, trimming on copies of. This is fine. Castle Pathway. We've seen a touch of awkwardness here from the White Splash in a couple of these games. I think it's mostly fine. I think you could make an argument that you just don't play the White Splash, you play Mono Black, and I don't think that would be unreasonable. I'm gonna Gutterbones plus Knight here, and then plan to double Thoughtseize next turn, because then we trigger the Knight with the double Thoughtseize. What's a swamp? I don't know why I thought that was a forest at a glance, probably because there were so many trees in it. That is correct, Auden Hex. You can look at the deck list by typing !deck in chat. We did, that's okay. How was your doctor's visit this morning, baby girl?
Dad, a girl can no longer subsist on bottles alone.
What? That's okay. You're already eating real food like a giant baby. You're huge. Oh, we can eat anything? That's good.
Anything but honey.
No,
I
honey.
think it's something about vodka.
Makes sense. It's very sticky. You wanna grab my mouse? I'm grabbing at my mouse. I think we draw here. Wouldn't mind finding a land. Yikes. Our opponent's a little solemn, chat. They're so sad. I assume we'll see them scry since we spiked the Obliterator here. How's that finger taste?
How's chat doing on Monday? Our Monday's really dreary. It's rain, ice outside. Ice rain? Icy rain?
Surprised to not see a scry there with the Obliterator in play. Is Healy considered outside assistance? Definitely. Definitely outside assistance. Hey, the real Richard. Thanks for the 25 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Excuse you, little pig. Ooh, Gonti's not bad. Okay, so we actually have a pretty solid turn here. We smacked them for 5. We Thoughtseize them. We get to bring back Gutterbones and cast it.
She had to get her finger poked.
You had to get your finger poked. You look like you survived. I have the playmat in my desk and the mouse real bad. Ma. Da.
I think we need to move her to the next stage of Percy, because that thing's heavy to lift.
Shadow Rill, thank you for the 35 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Crunch. Alright, one of your finest pieces of card advantage, please. Well, I mean...
Dad, just let me do it. I'm better at it. Dad, just let me do it.
Hey, so 2 bricks and they're dead.
Dad, I just want to do it. Dad, I promise I'll win. Dad, I'm the best.
You are the best. The best baby girl in my house. They had no thoughts to seize, so they died, baby girl. Alright, so Duress in, Gonti in. I don't know if this is a D-Spark matchup. I guess it exiles Solemn, which is kind of nice. Rider's decent. I know Obliterator just murdered them there, but is it correct? Is Obliterator better than Vito? I just said I probably don't want Vito against high removal decks, right? So maybe we split these 3-3.
Okay, bye, chat.
Bye, baby girl. Be good for your mom today. Yeah, you're always good. Yeah, I think I like this. Looks pretty clean. Even without Vito, this bringing back Ayara and Knight is fine, I think. Yeah, that's true. The stat line on Obliterator dodging both Language, Soot, and Shadow's Verdict is excellent. It's a good point. Honestly, it could be a reason to have all 4 of them in. Mond, thank you for the 19 months. Welcome back. Sure. Do. Beep. It's gonna take their Solemns. Ooh, and this is actually a great draw. Because I get to Thoughtseize them, I get to bolt myself, and then this gets a counter right away. Negative the Ebon Legion don't care, chat. He's like a honey badger. He's the honey badger 1-drops. He don't care who took the damage, he just wants somebody to bleed. We're basically Death Shadow, yeah, something like that. They probably should have done that before we hit them, right? Just try and find a fatal push. We're much closer to casting this than Ugin. And this is a little bit more aggressive, which is nice. We attack before we duress, so this way in case their only card's a removal spell, they take 2 first. Oh. I could be right to play this out here, honestly. I think I should have done that last turn. I think we missed 2 points of damage. The part where they play land Ugin and make me regret this. So they'd be dead next turn if I had played this a turn sooner. Ooh, a random card reward that was a mythic I didn't have? It's like striking gold, chat. I feel like I've been whelmed by the white splash today. I think I'd rather just have better mana and give up the cheeky Splinter Twin combo kill. I gain some board slots too this way. It's like play 3rd Gonti, play Obliterator. Slap lands? No, I don't really want to listen, chat. I get that other people decide to play colorless lands like their Ayara Phyrexian Obliterator deck, but I'm gonna politely decline the suggestion of putting those cards into my deck full of stuff here. Yeah, Arena actually sounds nice. I think that's fine. You like Grasp of Darkness? Well, I kind of like that suggestion. Doggo was really annoying. Yeah, we're already playing 8 special black lands. We have 4 castles and 4 Agdom's Awakening. Grasp is a good suggestion. I could play a couple of deserts. That could be okay. Could play a couple of Deadlands. I don't hate this. Do that. Speaking of like Toski and Adanto, I like that suggestion. Yeah, that's peak Twitch chat. I'm removing these second color to make my mana more consistent. What about colorless lands, Jeff? You see, holy Kung Fu, thanks for the follow. Good morning and welcome to the channel. Thanks everybody for hanging out this morning, by the way. Great to see a bunch of people here in chat. If you're new to the channel like Holy Kung Fu, welcome. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. We do a ton of Magic the Gathering, other turn-based strategy games like this. For Magic, we play a ton of Standard and Historic. TBS Coke, thanks for the 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. If you're someone that enjoys Historic, either watching or playing, be sure to drop by this Sunday for upcoming Hoots Hoaglandia tournament. It's an open entry tournament, no random qualifier to jump through if you want to play in it and battle some Historic with full coverage here on the channel all day. Check out the details there at MTG Melee. It is a $5 entry fee. All the prizes are Cool Stuff Inc. store credit. They are our sponsor for Sunday. One requirement, if you have not played in or watched one of those tournaments before when we did them last year, being able to broadcast your matches to Discord is not optional if you are playing in the tournament. It is a firm requirement in order for us to be able to do full coverage. You are allowed to broadcast your own matches on your own Twitch channel. However, broadcasting on your own Twitch channel does not excuse you from the requirement of needing to screen share on Discord upon request. So, if we ask you to share your screen to Discord and you fail to respond or you fail to be able to, you will be dropped from the tournament regardless of your record. Was the goal of Sunday's tournament is not only to have something fun for people to be able to play in, but also be able to broadcast it. I can't tell you how annoying it is for me personally when I watch other coverage streams and like they randomly just don't have one player's perspective because that player isn't able to or doesn't want to screen share because we don't have a spectator mode for Arena. So we just don't give that option. You're required to screen share. I think I'm gonna go ahead and play Vito here. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to pick Gutterbones up second to play around a sensor here. It's probably the case. Yeah. Wrath of God. So I could do this plus Castle draw, or I could just Egg-Dums for my mana. I think I'm just gonna Egg-Dums. I think MTG Melee supports refunds if you need to drop from the event, but you have to look at the details on their end. I don't handle any of the money. MTG Melee handles all of that.
Let's keep up the pace.
You can also just wait to sign up until the morning of the tournament. If you're uncertain if you're going to be able to play, I would probably recommend doing that. Last I checked, we had like 30 some odd people in it. We have a 256 player cap. Yeah, 38 of 256. I'd be kind of surprised if we hit the cap. Since we added the entry fee, we usually have like 100, 120 people. So even if this one's a little bit more popular, I wouldn't really expect to bump up against it. I think we're probably in garbage time at this point. Active Teferi for a couple of turns. Castle's pretty good against these control decks, but it's not like outgrind Teferi Hero of Dominaria good. Yeah, Historic's been great. I mentioned it, what's it called? I mentioned it earlier, but I posted a ton of historic videos Thursday, Friday, and all of them did very well on YouTube. Just having good viewer counts during the day. Is Tome greater than Arena? No, I'm not going to bring in... In fact, this is a good example, Billy Boy. So, like, think about the matchups where I want to board in card advantage. I don't really need life gain in the matches where card advantage is important. So, like, the Phyrexian Arena style card is good against, like, control decks that aren't really pressuring my life total. More Ninja Breezy. They brought in Rest in Peace. I think we let them keep the Rest in Peace, so I'm going to take their Teferi. And then getting 1-for-1 to bunch isn't a big deal. Field of Rune's actually pretty annoying. Means they get to kill my castle, and castle's pretty good in this matchup. Hopefully we find a counter spell here. That was ass poop. I would love to resolve Phyrexian Arena while you're tapped out. Thank you. 5 months? It's like 5 years COVID time. How do you feel about 4-day work weeks? He's pushing for that at the moment. I think 4-day work weeks are great. As someone who's worked office jobs and knows a lot of people that currently still work office jobs, 40-hour work weeks are largely unnecessary in most industries these days. And past 40-hour work weeks largely being unnecessary, you know, you could also, if you're in one of those industries where you, like, where they, like, 40-hour work week isn't unreasonable,
Let me know if you're up for round 2.
I'm gonna play this here rather than play out my arena into a counterspell. If you're in one of the industries where a 40-hour work week is fine, like 4 tens is so good. Well, and for the people that are saying they work extra hours, parts of those are related to capitalism too, right? Like, part of the reason some of you are working extra hours is because capitalism doesn't pay you a fair wage. So, like, you have to work extra hours to be able to make an amount of income that allows you to survive. And other parts, people like healthcare professionals right now, like, obviously we're in extenuating circumstances for that type of thing. And, like, obviously it's not a one-size-fits-all type thing, but... Name a better combo than blue-white control and dying to a 1-drop. It's funny. It's funny because it's true. Yeah, salaried employees are largely a scam. Like many things surrounding late-stage capitalism. Stoller, thank you for the 7 months. Welcome back. Our deck does have a couple of shinies in it. 2, 3. It's a decent draw. So we take this, and then we play this. I'll make a 2/2. With double shark, we could maybe get in a little trouble here.
We need to move quick.
Well, shit. It's a good draw. Do I Gonti to try and find a counter spell, or do I Ayara trigger pickup Gutterbones? I think I Gonti plus Gutterbones this turn. Alright.
Hurry.
I assume Wrath the God's gonna happen this turn. And the question becomes, how good are their leftovers? This is a decent draw. Unfortunately, this is a Assault coming almost assuredly. I think we take the Shark Typhoon here. Try and prevent them from being able to kill us. They get me? Is that a Glimmer? Could have played my own Teferi. It could just be a thing that they're gonna, they could just be like, okay, we're gonna Doomscar the Ayara. Could happen as well here. Yeah, there's Doomscarring the Ayara. Man, the fact that these control decks get to hide their counter spells from your discard spells now is just so offensive. Yeah, like I'm not sure we can lose this game if like this was a counter spell I could take so I could stick the Teferi. But like it's Assault coming over here, so I can't. Yeah, the fact that they made counter, like the black decks, the black mid-range decks, just like this was already a hard kind of, this was already a difficult matchup for black mid-range decks, and it feels like they removed the one avenue these black mid-range decks had of being able to have counterplay here. Yeah, we're gonna lose this emblem. Pretty frustrating addition to the format, for sure. Isn't that a good thing that there are cards that are annoyed by Thoughtseize's design? No, I don't think removing avenues of counterplay are good. So, what I just described there, AGH, is that's already a matchup where blue-white control was favored, and the addition of the Foretell cards, it further polarized the matchup is what it did. And also, the fact that you can now have just a generic hard counter, the fact that you just have a generic hard counter after you untap 2 lands with Teferi also is very frustrating. So it's a matchup that was already good for blue-white, and then it gets made even better because your one avenue that previously offered counterplay has now been removed from you. You no longer have that avenue of counterplay. Just doing this. Hey, what's going on, Lionheart? If you're unable to make the open this Sunday, our next one's going to be standard after the next set release, and it'll be on Saturday, April 17th. Well, shit. I guess I'm just doing this. They're going to take it away otherwise. So my impressions of this deck so far. I think our deck is fine. I think mid-range decks in general in this format, like what we're playing, tend to struggle to be competitive. I think Historic's a format that rewards polarization, in that you either want to be aggressive or combo focused or go over the top controlling, like this deck that this opponent is playing or the deck that our last opponent played. You want to be at one end of the extreme or the other in this format to generally be successful. This deck gets around that a little bit by the fact that it has Grey Merchant along with Vito to generate some pseudo combo style kill turns. So I think that the Grey Merchant aspect of this deck helps with that a little bit. I do think in general it's going to struggle. I mean, well, we're not really an aggro deck, Clador. I think if I considered our deck an aggro deck, it would be very reasonable in the format, but we're not. Our deck's definitely more mid-rangey. Just got my Biden money, so send it some your way. Thanks, Heinstein. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Nah, I don't think that deck's very good, Jibrizi. It's one of the reasons why I didn't play in that tournament. I think it's just a bad version of Sultai Ultimatum. Smack you for 9. No, traditionally speaking, the way in which Wizards of the Coast chooses to manage every one of their non-rotating formats, mid-range tends to really struggle in these formats. The way in which Wizards chooses to manage their ban list tends to make mid-range decks a very poor choice in these formats, in my experience. That doesn't mean they're unplayable. Like, if you really like these style of decks, you can play them and do okay. It just means that they're not decks that I would recommend based on pure power level. They're only decks that I would recommend if you really like what they're doing explicitly. Darnia, thanks for the year and a half. Welcome back. Yeah, Runeterra basically became a Magic format, only it became a Magic format without sideboards or best of 3, so it's real bad. I would not like Historic if it didn't have best of 3 as a game mode option. Historic sounds like a very miserable format to play as best of 1 in my opinion. And if you like it, more power to you, don't let me yuck your yum, but that's definitely not the type of gameplay I personally am looking to experience. Do I bolt myself here and then pay another life to draw a card? I think I'm kind of into that. There could be merit to holding this, because if they kill my Knight of the Ebon Legion, it could bring back Knight, Vito, and Aetherborn, like if they swept me. It's actually the second Chupacabra deck we played against today. We played against a mono black deck playing Chupacabra earlier. A variety game I'm playing after Ratchet and Clank. There is a stream queue up on my site that in addition to Magic decks has the list of variety games I've had submitted and or am thinking about playing in it. Scarab God probably closes the deal. I actually don't think we were in trouble until the Scarab God happened here. It's an okay draw. The problem here is they can bring back Vito, activate Vito, and then we die, right? Yeah. That seems like a tough matchup. Like, our Duresses aren't very good here because they have so many creature-based things. Definitely feels like we're just going to get bigger fished here. Gotta get pretty fortunate to have counterplay here. Chat's usually pretty good when we play puzzle games. It helps that. It helps that we're heavy on the ban button if they're not. Nier Automata is an acid trip. I haven't heard that one described that way before. Okay, well, hopefully we, this will be a game where we just keep drawing 4 and 5 drops and never draw a 4th land, right? Oh no. Oh no! Yeah, my body is ready for Gonti or 4th Grey Merchant next turn. Magic sucks and then you die. Yeah, we just can't win, right? This is gonna get them plenty of white mana. Alright, let's try one more. I'd like to get a matchup where we're not like 0% at the latch up screen. Like I said, I think those last 2 matches are pretty good examples of the type of polarization you tend to experience on average with a mid-range deck like this in Historic. The decks like Yorion and blue-white control are just gonna chew you up and spit you out. Mono black cat of a name. It's a nice curve. Yeah, cat oven with no mayhem devil. They probably have Ayara, to be fair. I wonder if they're playing this in addition to Midnight Reaper. This definitely seems much worse than Midnight Reaper with cat oven looping. Have you seen much HA4 today? No, HA4 is not going to have a huge impact on the format. And for the record, that's a good thing. So like non-rotating formats are supposed to be stable, consistent formats. They're supposed to be formats where you understand what is going on in them and they don't change drastically from set release to set release and card release to card release. The fact that we had those incredibly pushed experiences in more recent sets with non-rotating formats, that was bad. And like HA4 is gonna add like a new tier 1 deck to the format in Death Shadow, and it's gonna add new fringe decks with things like Merit Liege and Thraben Inspector and other things. So like I think it's a successful addition to the format, but like it's also not gonna turn the format on its head to the point where like it fundamentally changes what's going on because of those cards being added. I know you put the little winky face there at the end, Metsu fan, but that really just couldn't be further from the truth. Like, for all the shit people give Fire Design, there was a very small number of cards inside of those designs that were actually issues. No, I don't think you can. I think similar to the deck that we're playing, you can't really make Death Shadow much better against blue-white control. Again, these non-rotating formats in Magic thrive on matchup polarization. There's basically always going to be a matchup you just can't win, regardless of what you're playing. It's usually just hope to dodge it. You don't, Alec. Well, I get to gain 5 per turn, but they're gaining 4 per turn, so like... one kinda dead. I guess we're dealing 10 per turn, really. Priest's a little scary, though. To use corporate buzzwords for a minute, honestly, Fire Design probably would have gone over completely okay if Wizards of the Coast had simply been more agile in their response to the problems that they created. The biggest issue, I actually don't in what I'm about to say is a perfect world scenario type situation, but in an ideal setting, I actually think Wizards having to ban cards on occasion isn't a bad thing, and I would probably argue it's an inherently good thing, because if you're not failing on occasion, you're not really innovating, is the long and short of it. So, like, I don't expect them to never have to ban a card or never miss the mark. The problem with 2020 Magic was that when they missed the mark, they didn't respond to the fact that they missed the mark with an appropriate time frame. The issue wasn't that they shot their shot and missed. It's that when they missed, they didn't respond to their miss in an appropriate amount of time. Yeah, like, you gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet and all that jazz. Blazer. Balzer, thanks for the follow. Good morning. I'm really surprised they sacked their second priest instead of sacking the double Gutterbones. Are they debating, like, double blocking my Obliterator here and sacking 5 things? Well, so part of the problem, Oratalk, well, I agree with you that finding something inherently powerful can be interesting and fun. I also don't think that, like, some of these designs were, like, difficult to find, right? Like, Omnath, for example, wasn't a particularly interesting we found this thing, right? Like, the Omnath deck at rotation when Zendikar released was, like, super obvious and easy to build. Omnath was played day one. In fact, the last Hoglandia Open tournament we did was week 1 standard for Zendikar, and I'm pretty sure 4-color Omnath had a strong finish in that tournament. It was like the Saturday after set release. Yeah, Omnath ramp was 3-4. They weren't exactly the lists that were the ideal at the end, but yeah, Omnath with adventures and stuff were the half the top 4 lists. Are we dead? They sack 2 things. Thanks for the 12 months, Goulash. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. We got closer than I was expecting to get, if I'm being honest. We get to gain 5 more here, but I assume the next priest activation kills us. Can you still open banned cards in Arena? Only if you have complete playsets of the rest of that set. So, like, if you have every other mythic in the set that Oko is in, you can open an Oko. Or drafting. Draft packs are just normal random packs, is accurate. Why does Twitch say this last 5 years was only 24 months? Asking the big questions. I mean, to be fair, Oko's not really more offensive and limited than many mythics out there, right? Like, you could probably make the good faith argument that Oko is less offensive than, say, Oko is less offensive than, say, Koma. Yeah, Oko's probably less offensive than many rares even, in limited, honestly. Alright, I want an extra Obliterator. I think I want some spot removal to be able to take Priest off the table. This is not a Thoughtseize matchup. I want cards that play to the board in these Black Mirror matches. Oh shoot, I should pay more attention. Apparently Mythgard's having downtime this afternoon. For the Discord server. 3 hours of downtime. They go down at 11. Yeah, I guess we're not playing Mythgard. We're gonna play. We'll flip my schedule today and tomorrow. So we'll do Ratchet and Clank at the end today. That's fine. Ratchet and Clank is also great. Hey, Avian, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. I can tell you that turn 3 Oko in Eldraine Limited was basically auto GG. I mean, do you even need the Eldraine Limited on there, or can you just say turn 3 Oko is basically auto GG? I think this probably works out, huh? So I don't need to pump here, because if these hit, I play Ayara, we get our 4th point in, this triggers. I miss Team Morocco too. That deck was gas. Kid Martian, you can check the stream queue on my site. It's got a list of variety stuff that I'm planning to do and what order I'm planning to do it in. There's a kitty cat. Really hoping to draw land here in my 26 land deck that's now drawn 2 extra cards. This is where the magic happens, chat. I miss Field of the Dead too, if I'm being honest. I think formats where blue-white control is allowed to be tier 1 tend to be toxic. So, I was a big fan of Field of the Dead being a natural predator to blue-white control. We did it. We did it, chat. It's even triggers night here because of Vito. All right, I mean, we could draw another land for Green Merchant next turn. All of our lands are untapped. I'm gonna give a really lukewarm take. If you don't like Thoughtseize as a card, you probably just don't like competitive Magic the Gathering formats that are 1v1. Because every competitive Magic the Gathering format is a Thoughtseize format, chat. Actually, every one of them. It is an effect that they want to be a part of Magic that Wizards thinks is good for the game. Except for Standard, sure. Standard's been Thoughtseize formats off and on, and it has a lot of discard effects that tend to be playable in it, though. You're right that they usually don't come at 1 mana. In general, that's an effect that we tend to see consistently. Come on, can we just, like, draw a 5th land, please? Missing, I guess. I think Serrated Scorpion keeps them alive, does it? Or is this lethal? Oh, this is 6, 12, 14. Are they dead? I believe they're at 13, right? They gain 2 from Serrated. Sick. No, it's 14 with Ayara. Ayara adds 2. Alright. I'm happy with how we boarded. Let's draw a 4th land on time. I mean, to be fair, they died even without the Midnight Reaper because of the Ayara triggers. I'm just killing this. Yeah, when I just cut their card advantage off. Second Ayara is not terrible. There's a good chance they kill the first one. Just gonna let these bounce off each other. So I feel like if I pump, they'll kill Knight. I'd much rather they kill Ayara than kill my Knight since I have a second Ayara. If I hadn't drawn the second Ayara, I think I'd pump the Knight here to try and get the removal spell on that. But I think the dynamic changes once I pick her up. Oh, sweet. And their Murderous Rider timing here means I get the counter. They made the mistake. We made that mistake earlier playing against someone with Knight. A little sloppy on their part, but been there. Hey, Ty. Thanks for the 19 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Do I offer to pump my Knight into Murderous Rider? I think so. CCBM, thank you for the 19 months. And Kyle, thank you for the 27. The Reckless Raid song that I hum on occasion is a parody of Chocolate Rain. And welcome to chat, you boy. Morning, T-Chen. It's for the 14 months. Unfun fact, some people that use the internet are younger than Chocolate Rain. It's true. It's true, you know. How do I feel about murdering Blood Artist here? Come into it. Yikes. I don't know that we're going to be able to recover from them killing our life gain here. Perhaps I should have been, perhaps I was a little bit too aggressive with this card. Feels like they paused, like they had a removal spell for the night they were thinking about using. We have a board stall. Gutterbones is like low-key one of our best draws. Grey Merchant, obviously a good one as well. I don't really have great attacks here. They don't have a piece of removal. They have plenty of fodder to bring Scrap Heap Scrounger back with, but I block it for free just by spending some mana. Vito's not terrible. It's a good draw. It's a good draw for next turn. Sets me up to pay 5 to activate and gain some life. Gains me a little bit here with the Ayara trigger, drain some of it. Potent flooding out here a little bit, maybe. Now, one thing worth noting with the Vito activation threat here is that my opponent can sack one of their blockers to Phyrexian Tower, denying me the ability to gain life with one of their things. Am I dead? 3, 4, 5. Three, 4, 5. Not that on board. Suppose they could kill some of my stuff here. We're dead to another Scorpion here. We're dead to an Oven. We're dead to a cat. Oh, we weren't dead to the tower until they had another creature. You know, I messed this turn up, right? So I shouldn't have. So I think their attack was actually bad, but maybe they were just locked out of the game, so they had to hope that I punted it. I should have taken the time to count through here, and if I would have put Vito on the 1/2 and put Ayara on the cat, I would have been +3 life here, and then I would have gotten to untap and like activate Vito and attack and gain a bunch of life. So yeah, I think my blocks on that last turn were bad. Oh, Talahedon. Yeah, it's just I just saw the username too. What was your hand at the end there? If I block and don't kill the Scorpion, do I just put the game out of reach for you? I think I definitely messed up by killing the Scorpion. Because the Scorpion did 3. I guess you have the tower to kill the Scorpion still, but then you're still down 1 point, right? Because the tower gives you the Scorpion trigger, but you still have 1 less dice trigger, so I end up at 1. You had a cat and a swamp in hand? Yeah, so my block at the end was bad there. I think God Pharaoh's Gift is unplayable and historic, not only because of graveyard hate, but also just because it's not a very good payoff. The amount of work that you have to go through to make God Pharaoh's Gift work, and then the payoff that you get just isn't proportional to the power level of what's going on in this format. Overall, I was kind of meh on this deck today. I think the fact that more control is being played in the format is a pretty big downside to a deck like this. I think these mid-range decks already struggle to be playable because of the variety of aggressive things and the number of angles the aggressive decks and combo decks attack from in this format. And then when you add into the mix that on top of you have to figure out how to not die a bunch of different ways, you also have to you also have a pretty polarized matchup against things that are going over the top of you, like blue-white control, and I think all in all, this archetype just ends up being a little bit too weak. We cut the white from the mana base to try and make that a little bit more consistent, but we started with the revenge build today, Dr. Mr. Punny, and I don't think adding revenge to the deck really moves the needle meaningfully. I think your matches are mostly the same. And in fact, I cut it today because I made it the white mana base was being super clunky and hurting us in a lot of different spots. So like the people talking about making the aggro matchups better, I think your aggro matchups are mostly fine. I think the appeal to playing in a deck like this is that against things like goblins and Gruul and various other creature decks, you're mostly okay. The problem is that you're mostly okay in the creature matchups means you're like 60, or if we're being generous, 65% in those matchups, and I would bet you're 30% or less against blue-white control. So, like, your amount you are good against creature decks doesn't make up for the fact when you're going to die to things that aren't creature decks like Oven, or you're going to die to things like blue-white control that you just don't really have a chance against. So I think from Jeff, is this a deck you would recommend from a purely competitive gameplay perspective? My answer would be no. But to the answer to the question, Jeff, I love playing Phyrexian Obliterator. Is this the most competitive Phyrexian Obliterator deck you've played? My answer to that question would be yes. I think if you're explicitly looking to play this card or this card in this format, this is definitely the best deck that I've seen played with or against to do that. And I like this better than I've seen some people playing the like snow black deck playing some Obliterators. I think playing Obliterator in your Faceless Haven deck is let's call it ambitious. So I think if you're looking to play this card, I like this shell for that, even if it is pretty mediocre against the control decks that are gonna pop up on occasion. Thanks for the 23 months, Gundam. I appreciate